Alright, so we're here to discuss the terms of your contract.
Alright, I'm ready.
Now there's gonna be a few spots for you to initial and sign, and we'll go over those individually.
So, the intro actually came after I created the second track, which is called NSFW, No Sale Freedom Riders. And what I wanted to come across with NSFW is I wanted to create a song that showcased that I'm not for sale when it comes to my music. You know, if I'm going to be signed to a label, you're going to sign me for who I am and, you know, what drew you to my music. I'm not going to lose my integrity. I'm not going to sell my integrity for any of that. You know, I'm here to write free, and you're not going to box me into whatever agenda that you have at your label that you want me to fall into. I'm going to create what I want to create, how I want to create it. So when I first got the beat, you know, it was just immediate, and I reached out to Theory, who's also featured on the song, and he immediately just put a verse together really quick for me. I had just finished doing a song for him off of his project, and I wanted to, you know, after finally creating the song, I wanted to tie in the intro to it, which is what you get from the intro, is just that business meaning of signing your deal and realizing it's not all it's cracked up to be for a lot of labels. I'm not saying every single label, but for a lot of labels, and, you know, just going into, you know, I'm not for sale. And, you know, so it was kind of a back and forth thing. And so I created the song, then I created the intro, and then I took pieces of the intro and put it back into NSFW, which also features I Am So Loco, who's featured in the intro, and he just had a lot of fun in contributing to both of those. He made the intro almost seem like a joke, which wasn't my initial intention, but I really enjoyed how he portrayed his character as the industry, as the label, in putting that together.
From the moment I met you, time that you left, question my purpose, I wanna regress. I see you've been watching.
So jumping to the third track, it's called Outside. It features I Am So Loco, as we mentioned before. I had met him at Sound Advice with Kato, the producer. I got to hear some of his music and was immediately drawn to it. So obviously I followed him on Instagram. And, you know, just as time went by and, you know, as the creation of this single came together, I immediately hit him up and was like, hey, you know, I got this song for you. I'd really like you to feature on it, you know, and get not only the hook, but the verse as well. And the song is basically about, I was going through kind of a scenario where people were judging how my life was going based on what they saw through social media, when they really had no idea what was actually going on. They only saw, you know, the happy stuff, the pictures going on dates or, you know, doing shows, and like, oh, you know, his life is good, he must be cool, whatever. But you didn't realize, you know, some of the things that were actually going on, and just wouldn't take that time to hit me up and be like, yo, you know, what's going on, how you doing? And I feel like that's a lot of what's going on today, is people are being judged by their social media instead of people just checking in on them. So they're kind of seeing it from the outside, which is where the title comes from. And I remember being on vacation in Texas when I Am So Loco sent me his verse, and immediately fell in love with it. I stopped what I was doing, hopped on my computer, threw the verse in there, and sent it out to get mixed and mastered. And, you know, it just came to be the actual first single that I dropped towards this project before it was even a project.
You can never tell me. You can never tell me.
I originally created Horizon for an Anno Domini contest. A lot of the inspiration that came from it was from D Smoke, who was on Rhythm and Flow. He actually won the whole thing. If you haven't seen it, which I think you should, he's a phenomenal artist. So a lot of the inspiration came from him, you know, and his songs Let Me Go and Last Supper. And it was also my first attempt at, you know, quote unquote singing that you can kind of hear at the beginning. And the theme for that song which was crazy to me because I dropped it just before COVID really had, kind of kicked in, was that, whatever you're going through, it's obviously going to be tough. It's going to be challenging. And it's going to be hard to see that finish line. And I wanted people to just, keep looking towards that horizon. It's coming. You just got to keep pushing forward and keep pushing forward, until you get to that horizon, that new day. It's going to be there and it's going to feel really good. It's going to look beautiful. So just keep pushing on forward through that, and we can do that together. You don't have to do it alone. There's people out here that are going through a lot of different things too, and we can push through that together.
Fight, fight. I just wanted you to let go. I just wanted you to fight, fight. All you want to do is
fight, man. It was, I'm gonna start at the end and work my way backwards, but it was the least expected song to get the most feedback from. When I first heard the beat, the hook immediately came to me, just those high-pitched noises that you hear in the beat, and just instantly came to me. And at first I really struggled with how I wanted to do the hook, whether I wanted to do it, whether I wanted to have somebody do it. And eventually I just took it upon myself to do it. And it was my second shot at singing, again, quote unquote singing, but it turned out way better than I expected. Again, more so from the response. I definitely didn't think it was going to get the response that it would from people, but a lot of people were really gravitated towards it, just being track number 5. So I don't know if it was just the placement of the track or just the track as a whole, but I was super happy that was the one that caught people's attention, because that was the one I kind of took the most risk on in doing, just because of not only the singing but the layout of it, and just putting myself out there. I'm no singer, so putting that out there was just it felt really good just to feel that response. I wanted artists to hear this song and resonate with it, and the fact of this music industry is very hard. It's very tough. It's very challenging. There's a lot of roadblocks that you're going to face, especially now with COVID. But don't give up. Keep fighting. Don't just feel, oh, people aren't listening to my music, or, I only got 5 people that are liking my stuff. Stop saying no. Stop turning down opportunities. Keep fighting. Keep pushing. Keep putting out music. Keep improving yourself in your craft. And that can obviously be expanded into real life. Again, whatever you're going through, don't just, lay down and crawl into a ball and give up. Keep fighting.
out of sight is out of mind. They don't hear you when you're blind. Is there really sun if you ain't never see it shine? I'm not caught up on the news. Man, it gives me the...
So once again, I called on I Am So Loco to help me with another track called Around the Corner. And this was probably mid-peak COVID. And I had just heard of a car accident that happened just down the street. This older couple was walking, and these people were drag racing. Drag racer loses control, ends up killing both the people. And it got me really thinking about a lot of the things that were happening literally just around the corner from us, whether it was, God rest his soul, the guy who committed suicide just 2 buildings down from me, to that same day Kobe Bryant dying, to George Floyd, to Breonna Taylor, all these things that are happening just around the corner from us that, we really need to open our eyes to, because clearly there's some type of problem that's going on, whether it's racial injustice, people can't even go for a walk without worrying about getting hit by a car, to people dealing with a lot of mental issues that don't know how to handle it. Or even if they do, they don't have the support system in place to be able to do that as well. So I wanted to address some of those things that, we can't keep turning a blind eye to it. We need to, that out of sight, out of mind, or it's not happening to me, so I don't need to worry about it type of mentality. So, definitely look at what's going on around you and figure out what you can do to improve on that. As for the creation of the track, Obviously I laid down my piece and I sent it to him, and he was telling me he was having a lot of struggles with the beat, just for his style. So I grabbed a couple more beats that were a little bit more of his style, but definitely offbeat of what the original piece was. And the first thing that came to my mind was Sicko Mode. And I said, well, why don't we do something along the lines of that? Obviously, I'm not going to recreate Sicko Mode. That's just far beyond my spectrum. But just a similar concept of just changing it up, changing the vibe, changing the feeling. And, from the beats that I sent him, he picked one. And I said, do what you do best. And he just flipped it in a way that just... I remember the first time hearing it in my truck, and I felt it. I felt not only the lyrics, but I felt, kind of the pain that he was, putting into the track as well too. And I just knew that that's exactly how it needed to be, and couldn't have been more happy with it. And, that's what you get from, Around the Corner.
Time and space, pushing people out, making space. Hate me all you want, you've been labeled a disgrace. Frigid in my image, came to pillage what you leave behind. You're lacking education, girl, you got a dirty mind.
In My Lap is my ode to hip-hop and just being thankful for everything that it has provided for me, whether it was an outlet to talk about some of the things that I was going through in my own personal life, to just the enjoyment of creating music and the people that I've been able to meet along that journey. Obviously, you hear in the intro is Eminem from The Art of Rap, and just, if he didn't have music, he would have nothing. And to some extent, I definitely can resonate with that. So I just wanted to let hip hop know that, like, you literally fell into my lap. I did not expect to be as consumed with hip hop and creating music as I did and where I am now. So, I'm just grateful, for the opportunity and the blessings of being able to write and create music, and to be able to meet people, with the same mentality, to create. So, I just wanted to let hip hop know that, just a big thank you for that.
You can make the wrong move and end up in the right place. Tom is making millions cause he sold out my space. I'm out of place, let me shift a couple spaces. Had enough of crooked smiles, let me fit you with some break.
Hero the MC, man. I mean, what can I say? The dude's a cool character. I met him at a grind mode cypher in New Bedford for Third Eye Open, and I tried to connect with, as many people as I can. And obviously, he was one of them. He was actually in the cypher. I didn't even realize he was in the cypher right after me until I think the cypher came out, or even way after that, when he actually told me and was like, yo, yeah, man, I loved your verse on the cypher. I'm actually right after you. And, that's when I started putting two and two together. But, fast forward, between Bars Over Bars and doing a couple shows with him, I came up with Don't Try Just Do as a track that, something my wife and I had come up with, just a phrase that we came up with, when I'd leave for work and I'd say goodbye, and she'd say, have a good day. And I would always say, all right, I'll try. And she would always tell me, don't try, just do it. Like, just have a good day. And I think that's a mentality that a lot of people need to have, is stop. It's weird to say, but stop trying and just do it. Get out there and just put yourself out there. Don't say, maybe I'll try this later. I'll attempt it. Like, just go out there and do it. If it fails, it fails. But you're never going to know unless you just actually go and do it. And so, that's where the idea came from. And I think a lot of it too is just seeing how Hero the MC moves. He's taking a lot of risks in the things that he does, whether he's putting on shows for Bars Over Bars, stuff for his own music, stuff that he's posting on social media. Like, he's just going out there and doing it regardless of what other people are saying about him, or, trying to discredit what he's trying to do. He's trying to put on for artists, and it just made it that much better to have him on that type of song because of what he does in his own musical circle of, again, trying to put on shows for people. Like, he's just doing, I want to create an atmosphere where artists can perform and not have to pay for a show. They can, just come on and get their music heard. I'm doing that, and he definitely put that within his verse as well too. So it just fit perfectly for what he does as a person and a person of the culture. And him and I go back and forth on the third verse, and he throws in some scratches at the end and just makes for a super dope song. And just the boom bap style of it definitely fit within his character of music.
I met a lot of people on my rise to the fame. Not concerned about status, remember my name. Progression's my obsession. Each and every session, picked the beat and went to work without a thought of recession.
What's Up was probably the second biggest experiment track on the project itself. It's produced by J+. This was a beat that we had been working on for a pretty long time, actually. He had sent it to me, I would probably say maybe 2 years ago. And, time just went by. I never really kind of touched on it. And then, I hit him up again and was like, hey, I'm going to work on this track again. And he was like, you know what? I definitely want to spice this up for you. So, he kind of added some tweaks to it and sent it back to me. And the reason this was so important for me was, I'd gotten all the stems for it and was like, I want to sit down with this and I want to arrange it exactly how I want it to be, for each and every single instrument. And, I owe this track a lot because it's what led me into working on my upcoming album Apartments. And what I'm doing now is literally arranging all of the beats how I want and really making it my own. So What's Up, which is also my catchphrase, was definitely the start of that process. And just laid a couple verses for that. Again, more of just an experimental type of song, but just a lot of verses and just punchlines that I just wanted to get out there and have people hear it. But again, just more of the experimental process of it was the more fulfilling piece of it. And shout out to J+. I love J+. He's a super cool producer. If you haven't heard of him, definitely check him out, grab some beats from him. But just in dealing with my process, and just him being happy with the song itself, made it that much better.
Drop to rock bottom with a plummet to crescendos. I done tested many waters, all 10 toes. Save my Mentos, wear them like a body armor. Every scar became a bar that I probably wear with honor.
Getting Right was another one of those contest songs that it just ended up fitting for the project itself. Again, it was another Anno Domini contest beat, contest song. And the weird thing is I originally wrote it, I released it to Anno Domini for the contest, and ended up going back and pretty much rewriting the entire song. And just the process of it was really just talking about, again, it almost stemmed from outside, was again getting rid of those people that are only seeing things from an kind of outer perspective. And just, you can go over here and I'm going to go over here and get myself better, because it was, again, going back to that concept of letting people go that are holding you back. That's where that kind of fell into play. And, it was just me getting myself right. I got to focus on myself and, take care of myself, take care of my family and my music. And that's, exactly what I had to do. So the song just talks about, losing somebody's phone number to, you say you can't get a hold of me, but I've had the same number my entire life since I was 14 with my first phone. My number has not changed. So for you to tell me and know me that long that you can't get in contact with me, that blows my mind, because I've had the same phone number for 14 plus years. So there's no excuse as far as that goes. And just I'm gonna put you over there and I'm gonna go and improve on myself, and I'm gonna get myself right.
I don't know what's going on, and I don't really care. Nope. I'm so 1988, early 90s and 2000s. To be fair, to be fair.
This, to be fair, was probably the most fun I had in writing. It definitely took me back to a lot of different scenarios in, me growing up. The song is basically about me being in a new era of, technology. There's social media, there's things that are constantly changing. And, I grew up in, the 90s and early 2000s, of AIM and LimeWire and downloading your own music and CDs and CD players, no skip CD players, to Rugrats and Power Rangers, all that stuff that you hear within the song. And, you don't need to judge me on, not being able to figure out what TikTok is, or, being into plant-based stuff. That's just not me. That's not what I grew up with. So to be fair, I'm 1988, early 90s and 2000s. That's just where I'm at. And, so don't judge me if I don't understand those things, or, don't really fit in with those, and my style is not what you expect. This is just who I am. And basically, it's me explaining where I came from and what I grew up with. And this is, how I am and who I am today because of all of that.
This is the remix.
Check It Out Remix was a song that just came out of almost pure luck and fate, if you could say that. I was getting beats from Anno Domini, and I had gotten the beat, and it was Check It Out Part 2, which obviously the original Check It Out, similar concept, same title. And instantly once I heard it, I was like, what, I have to do a remix, and it has to go on this project. And it was at a point where I had gotten into Minds of One Collective Genius, MOCG, and we were really kind of spearheading and taking things off, and just appreciating everything that I had gained from them already, as a collective. And I wanted to just showcase that. So that's why you have Life, Etheric, and of course had to get Just for Kicks on there again for the remix. But just in my appreciation for everything that I've gone through with MOCG, I was happy to have members of the group a part of that song, and just let them use their own creativity to put the song together, and just let them fly with their lyrics, and and just trusting in them, just like I've trusted them with my growth as an artist, and being a part of that collective.
I won't succumb, I'm not what you expected. Holding my own, what you think I neglected. The people who left, so it's right to say bye. Had plenty of...
One Shot was definitely a track that I had been working on for a very long time. I had changed a bunch of different beats, different concepts, different ideas, different people that were going to work on it. And eventually it just came down to, it just had to be something for me, for my family. The concept of it comes from whenever I would go and visit my family in Texas, every night we would have a shot. And, it would get to a point, I'm like, damn, another shot. And, it's just like, man, we just made it through the damn day. Like, let's just appreciate making it through the damn work day and just appreciating all of that. So I'm like, you know what, that makes a lot of sense. And, so this song is specifically for them, in just appreciating the day, because, if you know anything about my family, we've lost a lot of loved ones. So just, being able to be together at that point, at that moment, and just appreciating being in that moment was exactly what I wanted to give off with that song. And obviously you can hear the toast towards the end of the song. It's actually my niece. I know she's probably going to hate me for saying that because she's only like 2 years younger than me. My niece Sham on there, doing the toast, because, having her on there meant so much more to me because it was, about them. So, the ability to have her on there just meant so much more. And then obviously you hear my nieces, her kids, my great nieces and nephews, on there just at the end, was just the icing on the cake for it, and just bringing the whole family vibe and connectivity together that I wanted to give off for that song.
This was the greatest story ever told, cause it's mine and I'll tell it till I'm gray and old. Call me Lil Saint, not a single expectation.
One Day features Chemic, who actually met at the same Grind Mode Cypher as Hero the MC, and immediately just I dug her style, and I had reached out to her and was like, I definitely want to get you on a track at some point. And I put this song together as I just started thinking, man, at some point in this life, I'm going to be done with music. At some point in life, unfortunately, I'm not going to be here anymore. And I wanted to paint a picture of, well, what is that going to look like? What am I going to leave behind that people are going to appreciate? What is my life going to look like? Am I just going to sit on the sidelines and let everything just kind of fly by and, not appreciate it and not, go after everything I want to? Or am I just going to give it my all, leave something positive behind that people can appreciate and cherish and, hopefully keep pushing on, for years to come? And obviously, I would like the latter. So, just one day, it's going to be all over. So, I'm just appreciating, being here and being able to contribute music, myself, and my aspirations in life to other people. And, obviously added Chemic to that mixture. And she just laid, an amazing verse, just really went right along with, the concept, and just killed it. I love performing the song, any chance that we get to. And this was actually the third single, off of this project. As I finally decided to make this an actual project, and this is definitely a song that I'm proud to have as, not only part of the project, but as a single. And it's been, just, great, the reception from it as well too.
Hey yo, can you grab that box over there? Yeah, just load it up on the truck. Come on, we gotta try to get.
All right, final track. We finally made it. We're here, moving out. Title track, theme for the whole album. Basically, and just more so as a whole, it just talks about everything that I moved out of, moved past, let go of, from this point, in perspective that I'm, trying to portray within the album, whether it was exes, losing family members, losing friends, struggles that I've had in music. I'm taking a step away from all of those things and just focusing on how I can just get better and move on from that. So, it was a great way for me to close out the entire project, and again, just kind of lead into my next project called Apartments.
I wanted you to know before I really took off. It wasn't your fault, my reaction being lost. Being who I am, we're not accustomed to handouts. We was doing good, I really wish we would've panned out. Cap and gown, color blue, and a sea of seats. Always had trust issues.